I previously did a list of the top 20 worst album names quite a while ago, and I really think a part 2 is essential. Before you comment, why isn't this on here? 1. All bands on this list must be popular, at least a little bit, so don't bother suggesting some obscure black metal band that only released one EP in like 2002. And 2, although I have a few regrets about the first parts, you might as well watch that to see if the album you're thinking of is on there. So let's get going. Starting the list is 30 sellouts, I mean seconds to Mars, with Love, Lust, Faith and Dreams. This is one that isn't that outrageous, but it has one of my pet peeves, the two-word thing for album titles, where they may or may not even be related to each other. But with 4 words, it's twice as sinful. My issue is that it tries too hard to convey the themes of the album. Another that was in consideration was Foo Fighters' Echo, Silence, Patience and Grace, but I went with this one because, well, I get to pick on 30 Seconds to Mars, LOL. 19 is Mother's Milk by Red Hot Chili Peppers. Back in the day, they were an outrageous band with outrageous album titles, and this one is no exception. At least it suits the album themes though, I'll give it that. Number 18 is Staying at Tamara's by George Ezra. This is my little brother's favourite album, and I admit I kind of included it on here to make him mad, but pretty much any album with a female name in is cheesy to me. Apparently the title comes from a woman named, guess what? Tamara, who was renting her spare room when George travelled to Barcelona to write this album. All in all, shame, because Once Done for Yard is actually a pretty good name. 17. Weezer, the Teal album. I know it's kind of their gimmick to have self-titled albums distinguished by their colours, but this one makes me think they're running out of colours. 16 is We Are Not Your Kind by Slipknot. I'm sure someone's going to get butthurt over this one, but this one screams trying too hard to be edgy. It's the sort of thing a Billie Eilish fangirl would come up with because
I'm not like the other girls.
It's also a massive contrast with the unique titles of the album, like Unsainted, Birth of the Crawler, Nero, Forte, Forts, dunno. Hey mom, if you're watching this, please correct me on my pronunciation of this song title. Also, to make matters worse, it's a lyric in the song All Out Life, which isn't even on the album. If this spells like not your kind though, I probably would have dropped it a few spots. 15 is A Day to Remember with Bad Vibrations. Okay, just pretend I didn't say I would have dropped We Are Not Your Kind a few spots if it had a pun, because this one does, but it's a bad one. Nothing is lazier than taking the name of a famous song or album, in this case the Beach Boys' famous song Good Vibrations, and changing a word to mean the opposite, but it won't be the last time it happens on this list. 14 is Bullet for My Valentine with Temper Temper. Much like Slipknot, it's on because it's a straight up caricature of metal. It's especially bad because Bullet for My Valentine come across as one of those bands who don't want to be thought of as edgy or angry or emo, and this certainly doesn't help their case. No wonder why it's their most disliked album, tied with their most recent release, Gravity. 13 is ANThology by Alien Ant Farm, aka the Smooth Criminal cover band. Do you get it? Ant and anthology? More bad puns it seems. Also, an anthology is a collection of poems, not songs. Also, ridiculous band name. 12 is Steps with Steptacular. Can we please stop with the goddamn puns already? 11 is Father of All Motherfuckers by Green Day, and yep, I just got demonetised. Maybe I'm cheating a bit here because this one isn't even out yet, but the use of profanity feels like they're trying excessively hard to be edgy. Also, what makes no sense to me is that in the lead single and title track, Motherfucker is removed so it just says Father of All, yet retained in the album title. Surely the other way around will make more sense regarding marketing. 10 is Pete Townshend with All the Best Cowboys Have Chinese Eyes. What the f***? And yeah, I might as well openly swear now this is already demonetised. 9 is Stormzy with Gang Signs and Prayer. Another ANT's title, another one where the two things don't even relate. Also, gang signs. Really? 8 is My Chemical Romance with 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge. This may piss off some people, so much I was tempted to have it in the thumbnail, but I'm putting it on here because it may just be the most emo title ever. It sounds like a poor comeback from a 13-year-old girl whose boyfriend just cheated on her. And once again, it's coming from a band who hates the emo label, and this title totally deters from emo. Totally. 7 is 10 New Songs by Leonard Cohen, and the award for laziest album title goes to this guy. 6 is Megadeth's Youthanasia. Ugh! First of all, another pun. Second of all, a bad pun. Third of all, it's pretty insensitive to make a pun revolving around euthanasia. I'm just saying. First in the top 5 is Chocolate Factory by R. Kelly. Ha ha, because it means anus, and much like Limp Bizkit's Chocolate Starfish and the hot dog flavoured water on the first list, it's on for that very reason. Also, I read the album is about R. Kelly's sex scandal, so surely that title doesn't help his case. Number 4 is Who Built the Moon by Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds. This album just reflects how gradually dumber this guy's music is getting, due to his ignorance of basic astronomy. Even if it's a reference to the Oasis song All Around the World, it's still bad. 3 is Unjustice for None by Five Finger Death Punch. Do you get it? Because it's a pun on Metallica's Unjustice for All. Must have triggered some metal veterans, considering this album is a dog's bollocks. Not even kidding, my mom made me hear this album, and it's basically this.
I ain't your bitch. I ain't your boy. I ain't your goddamn motherfucking toy.
Runner-up, Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness by the Smashing Pumpkins. I have no problem with the Infinite Sadness part, but what the hell does Melancholy mean? It's mental that such an iconic album of the 90s has such a stupid name. And at the top of my list is Duck by Kaiser Chiefs. Yep. According to frontman Ricky Wilson, they always had trouble naming their albums, so they randomly went with Duck. Well, that gets it to the number 1 spot on this list. Not that these guys ever took themselves that seriously, but I think this title crosses the line. It clearly has nothing to do with the record. In fact, a few of the song titles could have easily been the one for the album. Maybe The Only Ones? Lucky Heart? Nah, quack quack, let's call it Duck instead. What's even more ridiculous is that they didn't expect the title to attract attention. Well, it did, and it's number 1 here, so go figure. That's the list. What other ridiculous album names could have been on this list? Tell me in the comments, and like this video and subscribe if you haven't already, which you probably haven't looking at my self count.